I am deep in the annals of your mind. I am deep in the annals of your...
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours Podcast. We're your host. I'm Vincent, background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about why companies don't care about you and why you should quit your job.
Yes. Before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, jingle all our bells and buttons all the way down there, please and thank you.
Touch it over there.
Turn that button blue.
After you turn that button blue, we are in a undisclosed location in America.
Yes.
And that's why it looks like Grandma's home here.
Yes. It is a fantastic Saturday, but for you, it's going to be a fantastic Monday. You're going to have a great day cozying up with us in this nice little cabin in the woods.
Yes, I love your body heat. Now, Janet, we are going to read a long, long letter.
Yes. So, last episode, to update everyone, Disney is being forced to respond or put out a public show of support for the Don't Say Gay activists at Disney because something is happening in Florida where apparently the bill passed to not allow teachers to groom their kids. But, you know, a lot of LGBTQIA+ activists were very unhappy that Disney had a neutral stance.
Outraged even.
Yes. So they kind of forced Disney to stand with them, and Disney kind of did. But which honestly is not very surprising to me. What is the most surprising to me is there was a letter from the other side.
What?
From employees at Disney who aren't necessarily activists or anything. They're like on the other side. They're either conservatives or centrists or people who just want Disney to remain neutral.
Wait, so not everyone at Disney supports this activist movement?
Yes.
For the Don't Say Gay bill?
Yes. And anyone could tell you, like, it's just how it is. But they would like you to believe that literally everyone in Hollywood all think the same.
Did you know that there are some conservatives that work in Hollywood? Whoa, did you know? Did you know?
There's actually a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah. I think...
You don't hear the liberals complaining when they get Good Friday off, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're like, no, I don't want to stay at work. I want to celebrate that holiday.
There are particularly a lot at Disney. But people don't want you to know that.
Why?
Because I think it benefits them when you're ostracized for not being the majority. So, like, if everyone believes the majority are these very, very progressive people, which I don't have anything against, it's like, but if you think you're surrounded by a bunch of progressives, you're not gonna be like, I love the Bible, or, you know, you're gonna be ostracized the same way you would be if it were the other way around. Which I felt like that's how it was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you were surrounded by a bunch of adults who, like, would shame you for not being, like...
Leave room for Jesus!
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to leave room for... I never like leaving room for Jesus.
Yeah, and Hollywood would like you to believe the opposite is true in their workplaces, in their company culture, but that's just not true in any society or community where everyone just thinks the same. But they like you to believe that. So these group of people, which I know existed.
You're friends with a lot of center right people. Ooh, Janet, the white supremacist.
I wouldn't even call it center right. I'm friends with a lot of people who aren't interested in politics. Who literally, I'm like, I'm an artist. I don't think I am supposed to commentate on I draw cartoons. That's what I do. I'm not very bright. I don't want to be an activist. I don't want the company I work for to be an activist. I just want to make good cartoons. I think I'm friends with a lot of those types of people. And I think it's unfair to call them, to be political about it and call them conservatives and centrists. Because at this point, I don't even know what I am, because I don't consider myself anything, really. But like, people need the convenience and the comfort of like being able to put you in a box.
People want to put Jan Chan in the box.
Yes, they want to put you in a category. And supposedly progressives hate that, but then they
do it all the time.
Love it. No. So these people, who I know existed, had a really hard time speaking up since the beginning of time, I would say.
There was the group from Veggie Tales from Tennessee.
Yes.
Who went to DreamWorks and got like the full member of the liberal agenda shoved down their throats.
Yes.
And what did they do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They sat there quietly.
They assimilated and pretended
and just like placated them, like, oh yes, you're so right, you're so right.
Yes.
Everything I believe in is nonsense.
Or like,
you're so right.
They just pretend. Most people just pretend. They pretend they agree with you. You go like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and then they just don't care. They go home, like watch TV or something.
But yeah, we've complained about that before. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
I think like last year.
Yes.
We were trailblazers. No one in the art community talked about this.
Like
one of the first. You heard it here, folks.
Artists who just don't care about politics. These people don't want to speak up most of the time because you're going to get ostracized when you're the odd one out in the group. But they did. They wrote a letter, and we wanted to make this podcast about that letter. Because Ben Shapiro and The Quartering reported this, and The Quartering did a pretty good job. Ben Shapiro didn't read the whole letter because it's kind of long, but I want to, because a lot of it is, I think, really insightful for people who don't work in the industry to understand what people in the industry are like. And all the things that they're saying between the lines that I can hear. Like, I hear the people that I know. Like, I hear their voices in this letter, and I go like, I feel sad.
I felt horrible when I first heard Shapiro read it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there must be more to this letter, but this letter sounds awful. And then The Quartering read more of it, and I was like, this is awful.
Yeah. So I wanted to, I guess, share my 2 cents on what is being said between the lines as I read the full extent of this letter, because I think, if anything, more creatives and people should read and know the full letter. I don't like cherry picking, different each parent, like I felt like Ben Shapiro did and stuff like that. And I agreed with a lot of the sentiments that Ben Shapiro had and The Quartering had.
You're going to regurgitate a lot of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I have my own, I guess, I wouldn't say criticisms. It's more like advice, because I empathize, but I also think like there's much left to be desired. But I'm also like a crazy person who likes rocking the boat, so yeah, there's that. So this letter.
Do you think a lot of the people? Let's just put it on the table. Do you think a lot of people who wrote that letter listen to us?
I think so.
Oh shit, Janet, big ego Chan over here. Woo!
I just can't help but notice when people start using the same words that we use, and I go like, that could be a coincidence, or it could be like a Stalin complex. I don't know. But
I think it's people who aren't creative trying to get really good points from people who make really creative points. Which is us.
Or it's
That's
like
right.
a weird
really creative points.
Human centipede thing where like you watch people, it enters your thoughts, and then you regurgitate it because it's the
enters
easiest.
other people, and
so
the butt,
whatever.
And then, yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. I'm not gonna let it get to my head. So this letter is titled "Disney Employees Open Letter in Favor of a Politically Neutral Disney."
Whoa, dang! It's like the Declaration of Independence, kind of.
It's a little long.
like 407 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's a little
Disney
long,
was
but...
once a very welcoming and kind place to people like us.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So let's really get in here.
Okay. As employees of the Walt Disney Company, we believe in the dignity of all people. This is why we do what we do. We write stories, we make costumes, we act in parades, we run cruises, we stream movies, we make magic. We do this because our work contributes to a fountain of wonder that inspires joy, awe, and delight in guests and audiences of all ages. We are proud employees of the Walt Disney Company. We love our jobs because we get to share the wonder of life and human experience with millions of people worldwide. So first paragraph, right off the bat, this is a typical thing a lot of people in Hollywood like to do, which kind of frustrates me.
But they don't, it's because they don't want to do what you did.
Yes, they don't want to get canceled, which I understand why, but I also think people don't know what you're doing, but I do. You're virtue signaling to other people that, please don't cancel me, I love my job. Everyone has to say this before they criticize their job or the industry, and I just feel like a doctor doesn't go, I love my job, but a lawyer doesn't go, I love my job, but a plumber doesn't go, I love my job, but I don't understand why people in Hollywood have to do that. But at the same time, I kind of do, because people perceive people in Hollywood as the ultra privileged and lucky to have those jobs. It's like, even though people do believe doctors are privileged to have their jobs, they recognize that it's not an easy job and it comes with whatever. But like, that's every job. That's literally every job, no matter how like perception-wise you think how amazing it is. I'm really sick and tired of this job being perceived as more than just a job. The same way, like, yes, being a doctor is really prestigious, but it's also just a job, and it comes with a lot, and you had to work really hard to get there. Same as the people in Hollywood. I think it's weird to me. I think it gets in the way of what you're trying to say. If you have to get through entire paragraphs of, I love my job, but a normal person goes, if you love your job so much, I don't know why you're complaining. What
is your philosophy on making a TikTok, Chan? What happens in the first 10 seconds?
Get to the point. People's attention span just isn't there anymore. But because people know that this is a letter being an abnormal letter, they're going to stick through it a little bit longer. But I just feel like I don't understand why people in Hollywood have to do this, is all. But that's what this is, the first paragraph. It's just kind of annoying for me. And then it goes, however, over the last few years, one group of cast members has become invisible within the company. The Walt Disney Company has come to be an increasingly uncomfortable place to work for those of us whose political and religious views are not explicitly progressive. We watch quietly as our beliefs come under attack from our own employer, and we frequently see those who share our opinions condemned as villains by our own leadership. So they're just trying to explain that, hey, we exist. People who aren't like crazy.
Down for all of this.
Yes.
Grooming stuff.
Yes, there is diversity of thought in our company, just to let you know we exist. The company's evolving response to the so-called Don't Say Gay legislation in Florida has left many of us wondering what place we have in a company actively promoting a political agenda so far removed from our own. The TWDC, the Walt Disney Company, leadership frequently communicates its commitment to creating an inclusive workplace where cast members feel comfortable sharing their perspectives and being their authentic selves at work. This is not our workplace experience. This is basically trying to say that Disney likes to do this HR thing where they like to make everyone feel like family. They call you cast members. They call the place that you work
That's the only place, too, in all of Burbank, I think. They explicitly call you a cast member.
Yes.
They don't call me that in my studio or DreamWorks or anything.
Yeah. And when they place you in a job, they say, we're casting you, as if you're an actor.
Right.
So like when I was debating whether or not I should quit or get placed on another show, they typically say, I think you'll be good casted in this role.
Right.
Like if you're a good comedy board artist, if you're an action board artist, or like they'll say you're not a good fit, like the casting isn't right or something. So for
example, Disney noticed you're Asian. and then wanted to cast you in an Asian show.
Yes.
Because what? Because I think it's because you're Asian.
Yes, because I don't actually feel like my art style suited the show. But I was like, what other possible reason could this be? Could it possibly be because I'm Asian? That's a little weird. Strange. So yeah, Disney likes to do this thing in the workplace where they use terminology to try to make you feel like you are part of something bigger than whatever. They try to make you feel like they care about you by saying your family. Our Walt Disney Company family.
Yeah, you won't do anything bigger in your life than working for us. This is like the pinnacle of talent, and you're with the greatest of the great.
Yes.
And therefore you are our family.
A lot of corporate companies do this, but Disney's particularly like, we want you to come to work to quote unquote be your authentic selves. Like it's a thing.
Jeez, that's like one a little bullshit.
It's very cult like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever worked at the parks or if you've ever actually worked for Disney. It's like you understand what I'm talking about. But if you don't, then I'm not sure you can really understand. But it's really disturbing when you are told these things, but you don't feel it. Like, you feel clearly ostracized while working in the company, but they're telling you, like, we want you to feel inclusive, be your authentic selves, feel free to talk to us, like, we're friends, we're family, we're here to help you. But you're not welcome, you know? I feel like it's kind. I don't want to make it like this political point, but it's kind of like racism. Like, sometimes we don't feel welcome.
They discriminate.
Yes.
You because you like Jesus.
Yes.
Or you like America.
But it's not outright, you know, like sometimes.
But it's like, you know how, like, some racist people are like, they do like the winking and nod racism shit at you.
They can tell you you're so welcome, but their actions don't say that, you know?
Right, when you're sitting like alone in your lunch table and no one wants to talk to you, it's like, oh, I feel so welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what this paragraph is trying to say, but normal people won't understand that. Over the last few weeks, we have watched as our leadership has expressed their condemnation for laws and policies we support. We have watched as our colleagues convinced that no one in the company could possibly disagree with them, grow increasingly aggressive in their demands. They insist that TWDC take a strong stance on not only this issue but other legislation and openly advocate for the punishment of employees who disagree with them. Yes.
Have you experienced that in real time in Disney TV Chan?
Yes.
Yes.
So
you're friends with someone who was constantly ostracized.
I was friends with both. You know, like I come across as easily, deceptively, I could be a woke liberal. You know, I think a lot of people who are like super conservative like hate me because of that. Because like I don't consider myself like super conservative or right leaning, and then I look like I'm not. So people on both sides will be able to confide in me their true thoughts, and so like I know people who are like rah rah, I'm super progressive and like cool, whatever. And I also know people who just hate that, but they don't care. Like, they're not gonna say anything. But because of that, I do know that the people who are really rah progressive, they do have this strange worldview where they think everyone else agrees with them that they work with. They'll like, again, to kind of relate it back to racism, it's like some people say things to other people when they think it's okay. Like, if you share the same like skin color, you know, like that might kind of sound kind of racist if you didn't like Asians will do this. They will like have Asian jokes with each other, but like outside of that conversation it'd be like not okay, you know. And I feel like that's what a lot of progressives will do. Like, they'll say like, oh, so like something that they think is really obvious, like DeSantis is a fascist and a bigot. They'll just say that out in like the break room, where like,
and then they expect like everyone
to like
Dead Poet
and,
Society. Oh, captain, my captain.
Yes. But like the confidence in being able to say that in like a very quiet, like water fountain, what's it called, water cooler area, where like literally everyone can, like, they 100% believe that everyone, like, it's not dangerous to say this, you know, to say something so extreme. But then like it'll kind of aggravate people who are like, I kind of like DeSantis. Or like, hey, or they'll just say like, people who like DeSantis are bigots. And then people in the cubicle next to them will be like, this person just called me a bigot. So that's what this is just trying to say, that like these people are so unaware. It's like not, it's, to me, it's not that malicious. It's like ignorance. Like they don't even realize like what they're saying is that extreme, and that they're alienating people and making them feel awful.
But don't you think deep down that's what they want, though?
I don't even think about it that far. I think they're like half of the time virtue signaling to each other.
You don't think that like they know who they are and they just want to make them feel uncomfortable? Do you think it ever gets
sometimes, but I mean, I think some people are really good at hiding it.
Just like racism.
Yes. Yes. And the punishment part for employees who disagree with them, that's new. That I have not really heard that, but I mean, online I have. Like, I've seen people want to punish me, you know, even though like I already don't work in the industry anymore, you know, like, but I will see people publicly advocating for really bad things to happen to me.
Yeah, but within Disney though, that's the internet's the internet. But within the studio, that's like insane.
That's what I mean. Like, people don't understand. People will say that all the time, but the internet's the internet. No, these are people who work in the industry who would say these things about me.
How do you know that for sure?
Because they're public on their profiles, on their Twitters. They love posting who they work for. So it's just like, they think they're incentivized to, you know, shit on people like me publicly, and to be like, oh, if you speak, it's very victim blamey, you know. It's like, oh, because you spoke out, you deserve everything that you get. You should have just shut your mouth and kept your head down. Like, I get this from everyone, you know, and it's sad, but it is what it is. But this is new. This is, to me, like, if it's happening in the workplace to each other while people are still working,
sounds worse than what you experienced before.
Because like, these people are still working with you. That's messed up. An internal poll within the company went out a few months ago asking us if we felt accepted in the company. Many of us didn't complete it because the nature of the questions made us worry that the results of the poll could be used to target us for quietly holding a position that runs against the progressive orthodoxy that Disney seems to promote. The TWDC has fostered an environment of fear that any employee who does not toe the line will be exposed and dismissed.
So, have you ever had to fill out something like this before, Jana Chan?
Yes. So, Disney HR is like, in my opinion, the most annoying HR.
But the worst HR is DreamWorks HR.
Yeah.
They'll fuck with you just for fun.
Yes.
Yeah. They fucking just, like, they adore power. They love it.
Disney HR I would say, are incompetent, but trying to be helpful. DreamWorks HR are legitimately malicious to each other.
So now you know, children of the world and young animation students.
But Disney HR likes to do this thing where occasionally, I don't know why, they'll send out a company-wide like survey poll thing to increase morale. But the company culture is so bad there that it actually does the opposite. So usually they'll and it's just so awfully worded too. They'll do a poll of like, do you feel like you are comfortable speaking up about your opinions at work? And it's so pointed and it's so like, what's going to happen if I say no?
Chan, please tell the story of your first time going to one of these meetings, these questionnaire things.
Okay, so on one of the shows, well, no, not just one, on multiple shows that were happening at Disney TV at the time, Disney would like you to believe it's a very happy place full of people who consider each other family, but it's actually a very cutthroat, competitive place where people treat other people like they're scum of the earth if they think you are beneath them, especially
a step to step over to their goals. Yes.
So a lot of people get like drunk on power, and it's like a top level down type of thing. Like I mean,
it starts from the top, like the person, like the showrunner, or not even the producer.
Like executives.
Yeah.
So I would say it's company culture. Like it's a deep, deep poison rot that it's difficult to fix by sending out a poll. So
we're talking about like decades and decades of like people stepping on each other.
Yes, and it's very corporate. Like it's Mad Men, you know, in style. But you just don't expect it at a company like Disney because of the way they are portrayed and the way that they want you to believe they are when you're a young artist in college. So it's like one of my first weeks at work at Disney, and I go, there's like this mandatory HR meeting, and they're talking about how like if you have a problem with another employee, maybe you're getting bullied, maybe you're getting harassed, maybe something happened to you, whatever it is, feel free to come to us. And this is HR talking to this group. Feel free to come to us. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. We don't want this to end up into a shouting match in the hallway. And I learned much later on that literally happened previously, which is why they were doing this meeting. I didn't know that because I was new to this team. But not only that, I learned later on that it happened not only on the show, it happened to multiple different shows. That's how bad it is. But then I also understood that it's a very deep rot because the people who would like ostracize me and bully me and do all that stuff, they in turn, I would hear them complain about being bullied themselves in the exact same way by their superiors. And these are like directors and stuff like that, and showrunners. So like the showrunners are literally complaining about being treated like garbage by executives and people like that. So I'm like, so bullies bully people who become bullies who bully me. And I'm like, I understand, I guess. That's the cycle. So I go into this meeting, they're talking about like, feel free to come to us. And I had been working for, I would say 3 years at that point, that I was just kind of like been through a lot of these meetings before.
I think when we first got hired, the thing was the whole Me Too thing. We had meeting upon meetings upon meetings.
Trainings.
About harassment training on top of harassment training. And it was just like, oh my God.
Just like videos that we're forced to watch that says like, don't touch each other.
Like, okay. Gotcha, man.
And then we go check the box. I did it. Okay, let me do my job now. And I come out of this meeting, and then one of my coworkers whispers to me and is like, so what do you think about that meeting? And I was like, HR is not here to protect me. They're here to protect the company. They're here to protect the CEO and to make sure their company doesn't have like a crazy Me Too thing happen. They don't care about me. And like, I've seen too many things swept under the rug for convenience sake, to trust anyone, any like HR person especially. So I was just like, I'm not gonna go to them if I have a problem. I don't know if you're gonna fire me. If like some upper echelon person touched me, let's say, and I went to them, you really think they're gonna like fire them?
You're gonna get let go for the dumbest of circumstances.
Yeah, they're not gonna say like, oh, what? They're gonna say like, oh, we didn't like you or you weren't a good fit, and they're gonna let you go, like, because they're gonna get sued otherwise. And I was like, I'm not. I specifically said to him, they're not my lawyer. I'm going to get a lawyer if something happens to me, and I'm going to collect all the evidence and I give it to my fucking lawyer. Like, you're not here to protect me. So he chuckled and knew that I was someone he could talk to, because that's how you have to operate at Disney. That's how toxic it is, that you have to like covertly figure out without actually asking, are you conservative, are you one of the crazy ones?
Yeah, because any old foo from recent grad from CalArts or Art Center will go like, oh, yeah, that was such a productive meeting.
Yeah, that was so helpful. I'm glad they're standing up for people like me. Yeah.
Like, they care so much. And then that person probably roll their eyes like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. And then they're like, I can't be friends with you. You're dangerous. You're going to like out me in 2 seconds. So that's how we have to operate. And that's really sad.
And that's how you got brought into the secret group of Disney people.
That's how I was able to stay sane with other people who were also suffering but couldn't do what I did and left. Maybe they have families or something. Much has been made of our internal efforts to reimagine tomorrow, but as much as diversity and inclusion are promoted, the tomorrow being reimagined doesn't seem to have much room for religious or political conservatives within the company. Left-leaning cast members are free to promote their agenda and organize on company time using company resources. They call their fellow employees bigots and pressure TWDC to use corporate influence to further their left-wing legislative goals. Yes, we literally got an email saying that our animation guild is basically creating a PAC now to fund using
Political Action Committee. Yeah. I thought I was paying for people who are going to protect us. And just like you said about HR, I don't think these people are protecting me or my colleagues at all.
No. So, people need to understand this. I don't think in this very, binary way. I don't like any politician. Period. I think they're all snakes. I just don't believe giving money to politicians is going to come back and help me. It's just
I don't think so.
Yes, no. I would rather, if in order to be a part of a guild, a union that supposedly helps support you, you have to pay membership dues. And it's kind of a lot when you're in Hollywood. I would want that money to actually help me and not go to some politician's pockets on either side. But and organizing on company time, yes, they've been doing this. This is just a thing.
I saw the footage from the walkout. That wasn't a walkout.
No.
That was a 12 o'clock stroll to the commissary.
Yes.
Or Copa Vita.
Yes.
Literally.
That
was the most not brave thing. The people at Disney who have not seen the sun in forever, who I made fun of to no end because I'm like, who is still working in the office? It is the year 2022. I think this is sad that all of you have an office to walk out of.
Yes. What are you doing? It's so sad.
It's so sad. It's just, but I guess
clearly you want to be seen in Burbank walking to the commissary together. That's more important than what I want? I want to be seen laying on the beach of Hawaii working. That. I don't understand why Disney, out of all the studios, went back to work so fast, and it's so sad. It's you guys, you have nothing better to, that's what I don't care about this issue. It's such a non-issue for me. I don't live in Florida, and I it's weird that people do, and I'm like, oh, you care because you're sad, you're stuck at work, and you got nothing better. I'm not stuck at work, you're not stuck at work.
No.
We're working from home.
I feel like my studio, a pretty big studio, has completely adopted work from home.
Yeah.
And some studios I'm noticing, I think Nickelodeon's kind of half and half, but it's kind of insane that Disney is full on you need to come back or you don't count.
Yeah.
And I'm just what? And then these people walking out of I was that many people are still in the office?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're just living life kind of wrong.
So wrong. Like I just got a laptop just like yours, but just a
Yes.
little bit more powerful. I've been working at coffee shops, and like I can work at this point literally anywhere as long as there's like some semblance of Wi-Fi to download and upload work.
And it's great.
And it's great. And I'm watching these foos from what, the Disney what is that, Hollywood Way, Burbank studio, and they're walking out of their things, and they look like they haven't seen sun in like a million years.
Yes, because they haven't. Because you all work in dungeons.
It's just so sad. It's just like, look at these people. Like, look at them. They're still working in the office.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to be back in the dungeon.
And it's mighty sad to see, like, not like you're just trying to work, and then you see someone else is just like organizing on the company Slack of like, hey, let's like get together for lunch to like go to the commissary and also like, you know.
Yeah, and pose like we're protesting.
Yeah, and it's sad that people can get away with that, but people get away with not working all the time. Meanwhile, those of us who don't align with this vision keep our heads down and do our work without bringing our personal beliefs into the workplace. We've done this without complaint because we don't want to rock the boat, but the boat is being rocked, and our leadership seems compelled to reward those who are rocking it. See, this is a really big difference between when I came out with my video and now, 2 years later. There was a lot of sentiment from people who agree with me and all my issues, but they basically said, I don't agree with the way you went about doing this because it makes us look bad. I think it would have been better for you to keep your head down and not rock the boat.
So much it did for these employees.
Exactly. Because, like, clearly, they've been rocking it way before me, and they've been winning, and you've been letting them. And keeping your head down and not rocking the boat, like, it's only made things worse. In fact, imagine me making that video, for better or for worse, got a lot of eyes on the industry at the time. A lot of people, relevant people, were talking about it. And imagine if you had this attitude back then. Or even like before my video, you know? But it feels to me a little bit too late. Or the public isn't on your side because they don't really care about people who kept their head downs for so long, not wanting to rock the boat until now, you know? It just feels a little like sad. But that's like a real sentiment. It's like one of the saddest sentiments that I understand. I knew this 2-3 years ago. I knew that this is how they are, and which is why I never expected anyone to really come out in support of me. It was just a video that I made.
But then they're not even coming out to like help themselves being like bullied in this hostile work environment.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Like even in this letter, it's very like anonymous and polite.
Yeah.
But like the other side is not being
They're not
polite at
polite.
all, and we're kind of past that. Furthermore, as the politicization makes its way into our content and public messaging, our more conservative customers will feel similarly unwanted. You can only preach at or vilify your audience for so long before they decide to spend their money elsewhere. Working for the Walt Disney Company is a dream come true. We love being part of creating the magic that so many people around the world enjoy. Our storytelling is second to none. It resonates with people from all walks of life across the political spectrum. Our parks are the source of joy and inspiration that Walt hoped they would become. Every year, millions of guests escape an increasingly divided world to a place where they can relive fond memories of the past and savor the challenge and promise of the future. They do this alongside thousands of other guests that might not have anything in common with them other than a shared love of Disney. The unique brand of family entertainment that Disney is known for is an objective good in this dark world. It brings people together and provides cultural touchpoints that even the worst enemies can unite over. At the height of COVID lockdowns in the summer of 2020, when the country was fiercely divided over range of issues, Hamilton provided us something to collectively celebrate. At the end of an incredibly contentious election year, The Mandalorian was there to soothe a weary nation with non-political entertainment we could all enjoy, no matter who you voted for. When Disney takes sides in political debates, they deprive the world of a shared love we all have in common. TWDC is uniquely situated to provide experiences and entertainment that can bridge our national divide and bring us all together. What did you think about all that?
Disney hubris.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Okay, so you can see how we are very, very good at telling stories and writing a brand message. We are very, very good at being a romantic and selling you an idea of a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This is the cult ideology that we were all fed in school, and see, this is how deeply ingrained it is. As they are criticizing Disney, they can't help but repeat the brand motto. And it's...
But when has the brand been like that? You know, like...
Exactly.
Like, The Mandalorian, the way it ended, that wasn't very unifying at all.
Yes.
And Hamilton, like, I mean... I don't think Hamilton's as big as you think, guys.
Yes, yeah. It, like... In the industry at the time, people loved Hamilton, and
did we see Hamilton?
No. It was very strange because as we were like going to conventions and like very active in like the cultural space, the animation world were like almost overcompensatingly into Hamilton. And it shows here. And they were also really, really, like, you think you're a fan of Mandalorian when it first came out. Man, animation employees were like gaga over, like, animation people are the only ones that watch their own content. But, like, if you think about it, like, this is how disconnected these people still are. What happened in The Mandalorian to the one person who spoke out about, you know, a lot of things contrary to, you know, the public opinion?
I think the Mandalorian divided more than it united.
Yes,
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Exactly. They, like, this is how much Disney gives a shit about you, the employees that wrote this letter. They fired Gina Carano, the Han Solo of that show. That was very, very popular. They canceled her toys, and they never looked back. Like... If they're willing to do that and, like, nuke their own show, basically, what the fuck do they give about you? Like, you know? Like, they don't care about you. This, like, very, very polite letter sucking their dick. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, if they were willing to cancel Gina Carano and not care that they ruined their own, like, one of the only shows that they had going for them on Disney Plus, like, they don't care about you. Like,
and it's just like, that's my thing. It's just like, so this reminds me of being a diehard Los Angeles person.
Yes.
I would tell you all the time, bleeding heart, I don't think there's a city in this goddamn planet better than my city. We have everything. I don't know why you would want to go to India, Tokyo, China, Hong Kong. I don't know why you would want to go anywhere because we have all of that food and it tastes really, really good. Yeah. And it's like within the vicinity of each other. And we have Hollywood, we have the babes, we have everything. And then I would believe that until the roads would, you know, get all fucked up and then covered with graffiti and then like be littered with like all sorts of vagrants wandering around, and then riots and then tons of footage on Twitter, viral footage of like people breaking into the Grove or the Beverly Center, and then it goes, and then like, how can I say that this is like like, it was sort of like a half joke. Like, I understand Tokyo is probably like insane, I understand that like India's amazing, but like, I facetiously just say that like, this is my home and it's awesome, but I can't say that anymore. Yeah. Like, I've had to face reality and look at like where I grew up and my high school, like where I went to high school. That place got ransacked during like Fairfax and Melrose, got fucked up during the riots, during the, you know, the summer 2020 riots, and I was like, this isn't my home. And like the people who like watch over this town, they don't love it as much as I do. Look at what they let happen. Yes. So like, at this point, that's my argument for The Mandalorian, especially if you're gonna highlight The Mandalorian. Like literally, us cast members behind the scenes aren't even as big, remotely big, as Gina Carano, who's like a, you know, like a up and coming, like a B actor. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry, but like, I don't want her to be, but like, this is just like
it's
this
the
is where
Hollywood
we're
lingo.
at.
Yes.
This is where we're at. But like if they fired her for just like being her,
Yes.
like, do you think they give a flying fuck about what you think?
Yeah.
In fact, like, the most appalling part to me was the fact that like Disney didn't make a peep out of anything, out of any of this, out of any of you guys who wrote this letter. They didn't say a goddamn thing.
They ignored
and
you.
to the point where I told you, like, they don't want people to believe that there are people on the other side working at Disney.
Yeah.
They want that so bad to be like swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me to no end, because these people, like conservatives, right-leaning people, they just eat content up from Disney.
Yes.
And then they give them money.
Yes.
And then that money is used on the back end to screw them over during elections.
Yes.
And I just wish this was more common knowledge for like half of the country. You know?
Yeah.
Because this is, like, I was telling you, like, this is so fucked up and sad. Like, this letter, because we
Yes.
know how useless it is at the end of the day.
Yes.
And, like, we know some, like, at least some these people who are represented by this letter. And I feel super bad for them.
Yeah.
Because, like, Disney's bending to the knee to, like, these progressives, and, like, I don't even think they give a shit about the progressives.
No.
They're just placating them.
Yes.
Like, do you think they're gonna do anything about the parks or anything with Florida? No. They're giving you more work, and so that you could work on shows that represent whatever your beliefs are. Like, that's, like, they've been doing that.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what they gave you. They didn't give you shit, dude.
Yeah, they just said a lot of, like...
But yes, believe that they gave you something.
Yes. They made
go
you
ahead.
feel like you had some semblance of power.
Just like I said in the last episode, if I were to get these people off my ass, I would give them the illusion of power.
Yes.
And Disney did. They placated them, and now they're rubbing their nipples.
like, yes,
like we
thank
did
you.
it. Like we
did it.
totally did it.
We
Let's go to the
won.
commissary again. And we're going to ask for more demands.
Yes.
Because now they feel like suddenly emboldened, you know? Ridiculous. It's just ridiculous and infuriating.
It's quite sad that they still, like, when a lot of people called me naive about what did you think Disney was, that's like the brand of Disney. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that I currently believe that. I'm saying a lot of people believe that, and that's why I was able to reach a lot of people who, I think teachers don't realize that, you know, we're kind of brainwashed into this cult, into believing the brand messaging. And this is a prime example of it. It's like, you believe that your storytelling is second to none. That's really sad. I would highly disagree after watching a lot of world cinema. You believe that your movies change things and do anything other than distract people and help them just feel good when they don't really want to be distracted from more important things. You believe that your art, it means more to this company than it actually does. It's just a tool to make money. But like, it's a lot of like the stuff that people who work have to tell yourself in order to like
continue
stay sane.
to work.
Yeah. You have to have this pride, because why else did you spend so much money and so much heartache?
Because if you didn't
to
have
do
this, you would have left. Dude.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten hired, because it takes that much to
Or if you lost it, I don't know why you would stay.
yeah,
you know?
like exactly. And to just say, like, the most sobering thing is to realize that maybe it used to be like that, but it's not anymore, and it hasn't been for a really, really long time. So it continues, CEO Bob Chapek had the right idea in his original statement that he has since walked back. In Chapek's own words, as we have seen time and time again, corporate statements do very little to change outcomes or minds. Instead, they are often weaponized by one side or the other to further divide and inflame. Disney is far more important and impactful to the world by avoiding politics than it will ever be by embracing a political agenda. By focusing on entertainment that inspires us with stories of universal appeal, we are doing good in the world. Disney shouldn't be a vehicle for one demographic's political activism. It's so much bigger and more important than that. More than ever, the world needs things that can unite around. That's the most valuable role the Walt Disney Company could play in the world at this time. It's a role we've played for nearly a century, and it would be a shame to throw all of that away in the face of left-wing political pressure. Please don't let Disney become just another thing we divide over.
So this is ultimately the thesis. This is like they finally got to like this is the meat of the heart of the issue.
Sadly, I disagree with a fundamental thing.
Oh, no.
That like Disney was ever a thing that was just something that inspired. I believe that Disney has been dividing people. They have been. What do you mean don't throw it away? They have thrown it away. It's already happened. So like again, it's just like so kind of, and then underneath it is like a what's it called? Poll thing that you can sign and be like, I support neutrality and I am a employee.
Janet Chan, do we support neutrality?
I do.
I support neutrality as well.
But it's super unrealistic
Yep.
to expect at this point.
Especially with everyone graduating
Yes.
from their schools. So, okay. It sounds like we're being really mean and doomery and all that stuff, but like it's just we're just a little like frustrated because it was like such a good effort.
Yes.
And like ultimately I'm like so much more shocked and just like I feel a lot more for these people than I do the people who walked out, because I know the people walked out they just went to the commissary.
Yes.
These people, they were sweating bullets drafting this thing.
Yes.
This was hard for them. This is really, really hard for them, and the fact that this is happening is really good.
Yes.
But I'm worried that this is it for you people, and the reason why we're giving you tough love is because like there needs to be more done. If you really love and believe in this thing, as you really say you do in this thing. Mm-hmm. I think the time to like be afraid to rock the boat has gone out the window a long time ago.
Yes, and there shouldn't be any half measures. You know, this feels very much like a half measure.
Being anonymous and everything too.
I will separate into two camps of advice. There's gotta be advice that I have for, let's say, you do really, really love this thing and you don't want to be like me and walk away from this thing that you love, your career, that you devoted all your life to. And then there's the camp of like, I can see my company hates me and ostracizes me and doesn't value me. Why should I stay? And these are for the people who want to leave and quit. So for the people who want to...
Is any side more right or wrong?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It just depends on what you want to do with your life, really.
Yeah. It's a life decision thing for I guess young people who want to work, and then for people who are currently working and who probably could think that they can change it from the inside. Maybe you can prove me wrong. But if you want to change it from the inside, I would say that you need, very much like what Ben Shapiro said and what the Coring said, it'd be nice if you could at least be not anonymous and attach your names and faces to this, because I don't know if it was one person who wrote this letter or if it were
5 people.
Yeah.
Or 15. Like,
yeah. Or 100 or whatever. Yeah. And I look at it this way. As much as people made fun of the people who walked out, they still walked out and showed their faces and their pasty bodies.
That's how much they believe in what they believe in.
Yes, because, you know, if you go through it, it's not super risky, but there is some level of risk. It has to cross your mind that, like, you could get fired for...
They could just say it's just a different reason. You know?
Yeah, they could just pretend like if Disney ends up firing these people, Disney could say, like, oh, it's because... I don't know, you weren't a good employee, but like they actually fired them for this reason.
Budget cuts. Yeah.
But so like these people were willing to show their faces and to support this activism thing that they really, really believe in. What does it say when you're too scared to put your name and face to something that you believe in? And I understand that like you are scared that you'll get professional retaliation from this. But this is what I've learned ever since I made my video. And with you being on this being associated with me. A lot of people, there are certain things people in the industry are really scared of. They're scared to be associated with me because they think that by being associated with me that they're going to like get some kind of political ostracization or retaliation. But like, has anything happened to you?
No.
Do people even...
I went and hung out with the boys recently on my show. It was just chill. And no, not a peep.
What do people typically say about me in your vicinity?
Nothing.
They pretend like I don't exist. Yes.
I'm pretty sure they pretend like what we do doesn't exist.
They pretend like they don't know who I am.
Yes.
Even people who I know me, if they see me, they pretend like I don't exist. Like, these people are very, very cowardly. They are not going to, like, if you make it known that you are maybe right-leaning or at least centrist and you work with, like, let's say this person.
If you like Jesus even a little bit.
Yeah. If you just make it known that you sit in the cubicle next to this person who's like rah, super progressive, you're going to make it really awkward for them to continue being that way. Yeah. But nothing's actually that, because they're going to pretend like they're not being discriminatory. Like, that's what they do. Like, it really hurts their pride to be perceived as like someone that hates other people for what, like, they're very scared of confrontation. Artists are. So
what should they do? I mean, like, you know,
you should attach your name and face to these things and be more comfortable speaking out. And I don't think you should do it like all at once. We've did this thing with this podcast naturally because you're scared at first to speak your mind. You dance on the line and then you realize, oh, the line's actually way over there. You weren't even close to the line of getting canceled. Not really. And also, like, people think it's gonna affect my job. I'm gonna like get fired or something. People are too, like, again, they're too cowardly to fight. Like, a lot of the things that you are scared of, once you do it, you realize how, like, you should have never been scared of.
Truly.
Yeah.
Truly.
These are like shackles that you put on yourself. And I'm talking to these people who are scared to speak up. These are your own mental prisons that you're putting yourself in. It's not actually that scary to speak up. Not much actually happens to you.
I think, okay, so we're in the middle of maybe closing in on a house, maybe. And like, it's a very weird, unusual situation where we kind of just have to put in a sum and kind of step back and see where the chips fall, like whether they choose us as the buyers or not. And I kept telling you, you know, like, we need to put in the amount of money that, like, we're willing to, like, walk away from. If we put in anything less and we lose this house, which is an amazing house, we're gonna beat ourselves up forever. And if we at least put in what we think we can walk away from if the worst happens and we lose the house, and even though we gave what we thought was over leaps and bounds what the price should be, well, then at least we gave it our best shot, right? Yeah. At least you could, like, walk away with that. And that's, like, how I think about with these people who wrote the letter. I'm just, like, thinking, like, you can't just, like, if you really love it as much as you say you do in this letter, well, don't you think this is end times now? Yeah. Because your choice now is to just, you know, you continue to get your ass handed to you every day by your annoying ass fucking 20-year-old, you know, coworkers from CalArts who don't know jack shit about anything but, like, act like they do. Yes. Like, you can continue to do that for the rest of your life and, like, continue to be belittled and continue to, like, make content that actually goes against your core beliefs. You can continue to do that, or you can, like, you can just, like, say something. And, like, the thing I love about this show is, like, at least I'm saying what I feel. Yes. You know, at least I get, like, my personal thoughts and feelings are out there for a lot of, like, these ridiculous issues stemming from video games to, like, politics. But, like, my voice is out there and I feel good. And, like, I'm at peace with that. And, like, I can only imagine, like, how these people feel, like, bottled up with whatever feelings they have that they just want to say. And I just kind of feel like you said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just say what you want to say. Yeah. And like, let's say a lot of what is being said is true.
that you are scared of professional retaliation, so you keep your head down and you try not to rock the boat. That is going to just, clearly you understand now that's just going to get worse. So like if you believe in your mind that by speaking out now that you're going to get fired, that means you're going to get fired one day. Like
they know you already.
Yeah,
they know what you believe in already.
Like
you're on the list.
It's either you keep your head down and you keep your job for like a few more years as this continues to get worse, or you speak up now when you don't really have like a possibility of getting fired in hopes that like you can do something about it. Otherwise, you're gonna get fired one day. Like if it gets worse and worse, and like they're completely intolerant of people who think that way and they think you're a fascist.
Then you've heard the message loud and clear,
yeah,
haven't you?
Clearly, you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
So there's that. I would say, and like look at it this way too. If I was Bob Chapek or whoever runs the show there, actually runs the show, I would see that there are, let's say, 100-something people who walked out. At least I know there's 100-something people. And I got this anonymous letter that's kind of trying to stroke my ego, but I don't really actually care about half of these issues. And I don't know. There's no face attached. Like I said, it could be one person. Who is scarier? Who do they have to respond to more? Like, it obvious. So, and it goes to show you, like, what point are you willing to stand up? For your wages? For your health care?
For your mental health?
Your mental health? For, like, what is it? What issue is going to get you to finally like do what needs to be done? Because clearly it hasn't gotten there yet, sadly. And then so that's the advice for the people who want to stay in and change it. I don't think you're doing enough, but good effort. The other side of it,
but then what would be doing something?
It's not like
that's not for you to say, I guess.
Don't believe that it's possible.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just saying I don't think it's
well,
enough.
I think for me, if I cared that much about my employer and so much to the point where I've been subjected to this much abuse, I would, I think, get to a point where I've bottled it up so long, I'd probably at least just speak my mind.
Yes.
At the very least, because at least I said something. But like this anonymous thing, it's just like, this is, as the kids say, weak sauce, man. Like you gotta put your skin in the game, dude.
So like Ben Shapiro was like, you guys need to do something. Like it's not, you need to stop leaking things to Ben Shapiro.
Seriously, and the cornering.
And like trying
and getting points from this one.
Yeah.
Talking points from Janet.
Like you need to go and actually defend yourself. Because there's only so much big news media people can do. They can like promote your message, but you have to be no one's going to care more about this than you, because you're the one affected by it. Like it's nonsense to expect other people to help fight your problems for you. And like that's how I feel about it now. I didn't really want to talk about this anymore, but then you're like, come on, I need to talk about this. We finally tried.
If this letter hadn't come out, I mean, like we'd be talking about other things.
We'd not be talking about
this.
But
the letter came out, and I was just so shocked.
Yeah.
By everything, by the
fact that it
the gall that it exists, and the gall of Disney to just pretend like it doesn't exist.
But for the other side of you're probably thinking about quitting at this point, because you probably realized that Disney, once again, even though you made this letter, they ignored you and placated the other side. So that goes to show you they don't care about you, and they you all your romantic pleas to just stay neutral went ignored. And like I said, like if they're not willing to do this to you, what else do you think they're willing to do? They devalue you. You don't feel like you're worth anything, so you're not. So what are a lot of people doing right now when they feel like they're not being valued by their employer? It's the reason why the Great Resignation is happening, It's the reason why a lot of people in a lot of different industries are quitting their job, because they feel like they're not valued. So if you don't value me, why should I value you? Why should I stay and work for you?
Why do I have to subject myself to this type of abuse every day?
If you truly believe in like neutrality of storytelling and inspiring people and making great art and changing the world for the better and just uniting people, and not to, you guys don't even believe in like spreading the word of God or your own political right-leaning beliefs. You just want to make cool shit.
It's not like you want like, you know, crazy Matrix Jesus themes and imagery in like the next Disney princess movie. Like, no, like you just want just to focus on the stories and stuff. I'm sure.
What's stopping you from doing that? Like quitting and doing that? Because clearly it's not being offered. It's clear that they're not interested in making those type of stories anymore, and they don't value people who do. And if you do believe your talent is second to none in this world, because you work at Disney or whatever,
that makes you a pretty valuable employee. Does it? It makes you really, really good at what you do.
So why don't you go work for Ben Shapiro? Why don't you start your own studio? Why don't you take some kind of risk and leave? At the very least, like I said previously, the only thing you can do really is like focus on mind your own business. Like, make your own comic. Like, that. At least you can control that. You can't control what Bob Chapek is willing to who he's willing to placate to. And that's, if you're scared of quitting, I would say there's no reason to. There's plenty of other people that will have you and will value you, and you will value you.
I think, you know, when you have Disney in your resume.
Yeah.
That's kind of the golden ticket. You're good forever.
Yes, and you'll probably get a
unless
raise.
You're a dick, which like we know a few people who have a hard time getting work.
Yes, but they still manage
to get work.
Yeah, like you can. People think the industry is a small world, but like you can get away with.
They
a
get
lot.
desperate for workers sometimes.
They are willing to hire anyone sometimes. Yeah, and you shouldn't be scared of these people. You know what they look like now. Pasty, very unfit people who don't even put their backs into it when they go, don't say gay, or whatever it is. Or say gay, yeah, whatever.
They like begrudgingly say gay.
Yeah, they're like,
say gay.
So, like,
where's the coffee? Are we almost there? Where's the coffee?
These are not people you should be scared of.
No,
they are very cowardly, and they are not going to fight you. They're gonna pretend.
And like the thing that they're standing up for, just like, geez, like they're like no one's. I just don't believe like the average American voter is on their side. Don't you think? I don't think so.
I think most people don't even care about this story.
Like this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is all ridiculous. So like just imagine like I still think whether I know like the media wants to not portray it this way, but I still think a lot of the world's religious. You know, we went to Dallas, we go to Arizona constantly, and we even went to Vegas. Still very religious driven places.
Yes.
And it's just like it's not like they don't exist, you know, and it's just like it would be crazy if you did something. Because I think if you did something, boy, would it make news in the churches and the Fox Newses and the everywheres, the Daily Wires and everything.
Yeah.
Boy, it would make so much noise.
Yeah.
Like bigger, like, you know, like lefty progressives complaining about whatever on CNN and Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, been there, done that. Like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But a bunch of conservatives in Disney stage a crazy stunt and like fucking everybody's talking about that. That's like I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But like the MO is like, you know, conservatives don't really like to do anything.
No, there's so much of
They
it.
just
Like
let it happen.
People who work in the industry, even like the right-leaning centrists here, they have such a hard grasp on reality because we work in Hollywood. Like we suffered from it too before I quit. Like there was a lot of deprogramming to be had of like a lot of what's in this letter, most normal people cannot relate and cannot empathize with you with. I know a lot of it, like you're writing it for other people to, like literally other people don't care about the brand of what Disney should be. That's like a very romanticized artist thing to do. To care about, oh, Disney's supposed to be this. Like,
Man, if you did this to the guild demands, man, they'd be so much further along.
I know.
But Janet's using her efforts on the group of people she thinks are more important.
Yes. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on this.
Any more pieces of advice? What's it like to get canceled? Because, you know, what's it like to be inside the fire?
It sucks.
What's it like to be Joan of Arc? What's it like to be Mother Teresa?
Gross. That not even remotely close to that. But it's not fun. But then you get used to being name called, and at the end of the day, that's all it is. Like, if you're like, I know for a fact that people will probably talk about me, and make fun of me to themselves. But I've seen on one too many occasions when people actually see me in person, they're like the most cowardly, two-faced people. Like, and I'm not. Like, I'm very confrontational, because I don't like passive aggression. But if someone sees
I should
me,
know I'm your partner.
Yes.
When I'm passive aggressive against you, man, you make a scene.
Yeah, I get
It's
really
not fun
mad.
for me.
But like, people will pretend like, 1, they either don't know me, 2, they don't know what I do, and 3, they're like my best friend. So they're like trying to like overcompensate for like the fact that they dislike me or something. So they're like, oh my god, hey, how are you going? Oh my god, haven't seen you in so long. Or like with you, they just pretend like, oh yeah, what does your partner do? And I like, they're so cowardly. They have to do this on Discord and behind closed doors, and to people that they trust, they think agree with them. It's so like, if you like, they're already talking shit about you anyways. Everyone talks shit about everyone in this industry.
Yeah.
They like, people are
What do you got
really
to lose,
jealous and
man?
competitive. Yeah.
I yeah. And in closing, I wish you rebel scum at Disney, I wish the best for you, because this is dope. I really didn't expect this coming from you.
Well,
You had a friend who is very much, it sounds like he wrote this letter, you know, a little bit.
I mean, yes, but no, I don't think he did.
Of course
but
not.
It sounds
but
like
it sounds like
Yeah.
him. It's I hear him and,
Yes.
and like all the stories you tell about him. Like, I hear him in the story and I think like, this fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I wish the best for you, and I think you should go for broke. You know,
Yeah.
like it's end times, man. Like they totally dissed you. Disney totally did. Like, you made the most romantic love letter to Disney, and they were just like left you on red.
No,
like just
yeah.
dissed you.
I want
So
to
I
sleep
think
with that girl.
yeah,
Instead.
I think it's time to just go for broke and like just say what you gotta say, and like be clever and creative about it. You
Yes.
know, be clever and creative about it, and best of luck. Like, truly. Well, what are the last thoughts for these people?
That I hope this, I want this. I'm not going to say I'm never going to talk about Disney ever again, but I want this to be the last time I talk about the industry, because like, I just don't care. Like, I want you to fight for yourselves, and I just don't. I'm so like bitter and jaded that I don't believe. I want to focus on the things that I believe I can change and I can control, and that is to like focus on my own projects and to give advice to people who also want to focus on their own projects and make themselves better, because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control making Disney better. And like, when I was younger, again, to have the ego and the narcissism to think that you can change it from the inside, when like, good for you that you had that much energy and gusto. I think it's being wasted on a company that hates you.
So I'm going like, my sentiment is go Braveheart,
Yeah.
and yours is like,
bounce,
just quit.
leave.
Just quit.
It's not worth
It's
your
not worth
time. Save.
So now you
your
got both
breath.
sides. You got
Yeah.
both sides. So yeah, I think what we're gonna recommend, I think we're just gonna leave the letter down in the description box below, and you can read it for yourself, and let us know what you think about it. Truly.
I also want to recommend this amazing HR response
Oh,
video.
that's right.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Totally forgot about this.
So I'm going to recommend this HR video about reasons why it's good to go back to the office because it's hilarious. It's a company who made their HR lady make a video on YouTube, I think, about all the reasons why it's good to go back to the office. And it's this guy reacting to it and going like, this just sounds like a company being really disrespectful and rude and not valuing their employees. And it just sounds like bad. It just sounds like bad. And it just reminded me of Disney. Because I was like, man, sucks to be you guys. That you have an office to walk out of.
It really sucks that you guys go back to the office. Like, God, you guys suck. You guys suck. It's like you're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the past.
You're stuck in those dungeons.
Oh my God.
Those dark.
It's so sad.
Dark dungeons.
I'm like, we're getting so much sun while we work these days.
I know. I feel
It's
so
nice.
happy. If you like this episode, hit like, subscribe, check out these other videos to binge all our other episodes, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.